Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining the Global Research Alliance Council Meeting 2022. My name is Alfonso Arellano. I will be your Master of Ceremony. In the next 3 days, we will review what our year 2021 looked like and what we have planned ahead for 2022 and onwards. Please keep your cameras and microphones off during the duration of the event. In segments where comments and questions are allowed, please raise your hand and we will activate your microphone for you to speak. Please also indicate your full name and country on the Zoom call tag. You can do this by searching your name of the participant tab on Zoom, right-clicking and pressing rename. And now, please allow me to introduce Dr. Andrew Campbell from Australia, who has some words for us.
Good evening, everyone. I'm speaking to you from the traditional lands of the Gunditjmara people from my farm in Western Victoria in southern Australia. And it's been my great pleasure over the last year to represent Australia as chair of the Global Research Alliance on Agricultural Greenhouse Gases. The last year, of course, has been one of ongoing disruption from the COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected everyone in this meeting, I'm sure, and certainly it has meant that we haven't been able to achieve everything that we had hoped from our year as chair of the GRA. Nevertheless, under the circumstances, I think it's been an extremely productive and constructive year. Before we get further into that detail, I'd like very much to mention our new country member of Cuba. Welcome, it's great to have you as a partner country in the GRA. And our new organisational partners, the Centre for Coordination of Agricultural Research and Development for Southern Africa, or CARDESA, and the Sustainable Agriculture Initiative, SAI, platform. thanks for joining the GRA. We look forward to your contributions and we're sure you will find it a valuable collaboration to be part of. Welcome. During the year that's just passed, one of the very significant events was, of course, COP26, the Conference of the Parties of the United Nations Framework to Combat Climate Change. The GRA hosted an event called Contemplating the Co-Benefits, and we'll say more about that later when I talk about Australia's contribution. Also during the year, the GRA became an official knowledge partner of the Agricultural Innovation Mission for Climate, or AIM4C. We participated in the launch of the initiative at COP, led by the United States and the United Arab Emirates. Existing GRA research activities have been recognised through AIM4C as innovation sprints. The focus is on accelerating support for global collaboration on R&D, so that's extremely well aligned with GRA goals, and the GRA is very well positioned to both contribute to this initiative and to benefit from that involvement. The GRA was also identified as a priority initiative under the Climate Shot campaign led by the United Kingdom and the CGIAR research program on climate change, agriculture and food security, or CCAFS. The GRA is a priority initiative on that global action agenda for innovation in agriculture. One of the big announcements of the UK government at COP was the Glasgow Breakthrough on Agriculture. And agriculture is one of the 5 core sectors against which countries will report annually. It's still at an early stage, being built this year, especially working out the metrics and building the number of signatories. However, the GRA is one of the players involved in developing that initiative. At our last council meeting, which I was honoured to host from here in Canberra, but alas, it was also a virtual meeting, we accepted a new strategy, a new strategic plan for the GRA, and we established 2 new working groups to progress our thinking at a council level. One on innovation and one on the research stocktake across GRA members. From an Australian perspective, we had 4 goals for our year as chair of the council. We were very keen to get greater engagement within the GRA with Pacific Island countries. And again, this is one of those things that I suspect we'd have had more progress on were we able to travel and engage in our normal way. Nevertheless, we were able to support engagement of Pacific Island countries at that council meeting held last year. We also funded a project to improve emissions inventories in Fiji and help Fiji to better engage and collaborate with other GRA-linked inventory efforts. We have an ongoing conversation with the Pacific Community, or SPC, to explore how we could better support at a regional level many Pacific Island countries at the same time. Within the Australian government, we've been promoting the GRA and the GRA events through ACR newsletters and other fora, including social media, and we've raised visibility of GRA across Australian government, particularly in planning for the various events that we're involved in at the COP in Glasgow. I wear a number of hats, but 2 of the most important hats I wear is that I'm on the System Council of the CGIAR as the Australian delegate, as well as being involved as the GRA. And wearing those 2 hats, it was natural to try and increase the awareness of the GRA through System Council meetings and facilitating links between the GRA and the new One CGIAR research portfolio. I'm confident in saying that when it comes to emissions from agriculture, the GRA is now seen as a key knowledge partner for the CGIAR. In the current GRA strategy, Australia has been very keen to get a better focus on the synergies and co-benefits between mitigation and adaptation. Particularly from a smallholder farmer perspective in low and middle income countries, adaptation is every bit as important as, and arguably more so, than trying to reduce emissions per se. So we organised an event at COP26 that was specifically focused on the co-benefits between adaptation and mitigation. We had excellent attendance at that event, which was quite a high-profile event. We also funded the first MACB trial in Bangladesh, trialling new modelling approaches to more quickly identify best bet co-benefit options. And that's an extremely important context in Bangladesh. And we supported the development of the MACB flagship proposal to showcase co-benefits research that is explicitly focused on that, the middle of the Venn diagram between adaptation and mitigation. In closing my introductory remarks, once again I'd like to thank our Special Representative Hayden Montgomery very much for his ongoing leadership of this initiative, and to Deb and her colleagues in the Secretariat for their wonderful support for the initiative. I look forward to staying involved and to us continuing what we have been working on for the last decade or so. And I look forward very much to supporting our colleagues in Chile, led by the Minister of Agriculture, Maria Emilia Undurraga, as they take over the leadership of the Council. Welcome to your, and thank you for your leadership of a wonderful collaborative initiative involving many countries and many organisations, and we wish you all the best for your year as Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good evening, and good day to everybody. Thank you for the Global Research Alliance for the opportunity given to Chile of getting more closely involved in the GRA Council. Thanks you to the Chair of Australia for its leading role and long-term relationship of collaboration with Chile. In the areas of greenhouse gases mitigation in the agriculture sector. The leading role during the year will be in hands of the Instituto of Investigaciones Agropecuarias, INEA, the research institute for the agriculture sector in Chile. Chile is happy to share this leading position with Spain, a country of long and lasting collaboration within the agriculture and food sector, including research and innovation development to address climate change. Chile has updated its NDC in March 2020 with a strong commitment to achieve carbon neutrality in 2050, as well as reaching its emission peak in 2030. The country also published its last inventory report early this year as part of the fourth biennial update report, which include emissions and removal for the 1990-2018 time series. The country is currently updating the 1990-2020 series, which will be published at the end of this year, most likely during COP27. Agriculture continues to be the second most significant resource of emission, accounting for the 11% of total country emission, so that further advances will be quickly needed. Additionally, the country is pursuing to generate a long-term climate strategy, which demands information on projections, cost-benefit of potential mitigation actions, and strong monitoring and reporting system to be in place. In the view of our country, despite the challenge ahead, agriculture represents an opportunity to reduce GHG emissions while enhancing food security in a post-COVID-19 time. The GRA represents an opportunity to joint effort for coordinate activities as well as establishing collaboration in relevant areas. Areas of further joint work could include key aspects for the implementation of monitoring, reporting, and verification systems to increase transparency as well as scale up mitigation actions. Success cases from around the globe can provide relevant experience for beginners into this area. In this area, we believe the inclusion and understanding of innovation in our research system will contribute to enhance the impact of our research. We are then looking forward to the outcomes of the innovation working group that will be shared on day 2. Experience on alternative to promote farmers' adoption of mitigation action, considering also food security and economics. It is a key for success of global goals. We will have a workshop on day 3 of our council on this matter. Further works on the implementation of regions of or productive types emissions factors that can be adapted by countries in their inventories as an alternative to the default emission factor currently used that may be a barrier for the NDC accounted. Exploring options for target country capability building, including in internship, scholarships, exchanges, natural-based solution for mitigation, and others. We look forward to fostering these and other areas of collaboration that may arise. Thank you, and now I leave you with Pedro Bustos, National Director of Instituto of Investigación Agropecuaria of Chile, INEA. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity given to Chile for getting more involved and closely involved in the GRA Council. And thank you also to our Minister of Agriculture, who has given us the opportunity to leading this role this year. The INEA is the Research Institute of Agri-Food Sector of Chile. Our institution has participated in the GRI since the 2010. Over these years, our participation has included the incorporation of our research scientists and research groups and flagship initiatives. We have had a specific equipment collaboration with some of the partners participating in GRA, and we have provided training activities for research team of other Latin American countries, and we have also received grantees participation of Cliff Card Awards program. Even at this time, despite this restriction and the challenges of the imposed of the COVID. We strongly believe that GRA offers an opportunity for the exchange of knowledge and experience and allow us to join efforts to reduce the GHG emissions and increase CO2 capture with increasing efficiency of agriculture productive systems. Thus, we look forward for a year of active collaboration with countries and partners' participation in the GRA, and changing the GRA contribution to the achievement of mitigation reduction targets worldwide. Thank you very much.
GRA Council meeting. As you are all aware, and to start with our session today, prior to this meeting, the GRA Secretariat requested the members to consider the possibility to take up the role of Vice Chair during the 2022 period and the role of Chair during the coming year, 2023. The Secretariat invited members to express their interest by email. We are very pleased to inform you that Spain has expressed its interest in taking up this responsibility. As we have received no other expression of interest, I put it to the meeting to consider Spain's generous offer. If I've heard no objections, I'll give you a few minutes to react to this. But if we have no objections from members participating in the Council meeting, I will propose the Council to formally confirm the generous Spain's offer. As we have heard nothing from the floor, I would like to welcome Esther Esteban, the director of INEA Spain, to greeting you and say a few words. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I would like to thank the Global Research Alliance for giving Spain the opportunity to contribute to climate change in agriculture through our participation. We are very glad to support Chile during 2022 in its role as chair of the GRA. In principle, we share the same priorities expressed by the Chilean Ministry of Agriculture. Since the GRA Council has supported our candidacy today, Spain will take up this role as chair of the GRA during 2023. Our country will be represented by the Instituto Nacional de Investigación Agraria y Alimentaria, INIA, and our institute belongs to the High Council for Scientific Research, which is known as the SIC, the most relevant institution dedicated to research and innovation, active in all scientific areas and depending from the Ministry of Science and Innovation. In the last inventory report on greenhouse gas emission in Spain, corresponding to the time period 1990 to 1920, there is a reduction of 12.4% in 2020 compared to the previous year. The level of total emissions represents a reduction of 5.3% compared to 1990, and a reduction of 37.8% compared to 2005. In spite of this promising trend on total emissions, agriculture, accounting for 14.1% of the total emissions in Spain, is the only sector that experiences an increase in greenhouse gases emissions compared to the previous year, and in 2.3%. For this reason, we are convinced that more science and innovation is urgently needed to implement measures in order to advance the sustainability of agriculture in Spain and beyond. Spain is particularly interested in specific aspects such as soil management to reduce nitrous oxide emissions and manure management to reduce livestock emissions. We're looking forward to work along with Chile, more specifically our INEA homologue this year in the frame of the GRA, and to contribute to get important achievements for all of us. We're looking forward to this new challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Esther, for your kind words, and thank you, Spain, for taking up the role of vice chair and chair during the 2022-2023 period. We would like to thank Dr. Andrew Campbell for their kind words at the beginning of this meeting and for the active role Australia took up during the 2 years leading us as part of the Council. As we are moving on with our meeting, we will start with the proper work for our Council meeting. And to start with, we will have a presentation from the Special Representative of the GRA, Mr. Hayden Montgomery. He will be joining us to provide an update of the activities carried out by the Council during the 2021 period. Mr. Montgomery will be joining us live via Zoom, and we are looking forward to his presentation. So Hayden, please, you got the floor.
Thank you, Marta. Good day to everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I think this might be the one day this year I have put a tie on, so it's a special occasion. First, before going into my presentation, I really want to acknowledge the role of Australia in being our chair for the last year. Thank you to Andrew and your team for all of your leadership. Unfortunately, you struck continuing COVID disruptions, but I think as you have explained in your words at the beginning, and I hope in my presentation and what we will see from the groups in the coming days, we can be proud of the work we have done despite the COVID disruptions. And I wish the best of luck to Chile for the coming year, and hope you won't have the same disruptions from COVID. So congratulations. Thank you to the Minister for your words and your leadership. And finally, before starting, just to say to Spain, thank you for your expression of interest. We look forward to working with you in support of Chile and then supporting you during your time as chair in 2023. So with that, I will move into the presentation. The purpose of this is to give you an overview of activities undertaken by myself in my capacity as Special Representative, the work of the Secretariat, and those things that won't necessarily be covered by what we will hear from our research group co-chairs during tomorrow's sessions. First of all, just to reiterate that we have a new member since the last council meeting, with Cuba joining in June of 2021. We also have 2 new partner organisations that have been confirmed since the council meeting and hosted by Australia, with CARDESA and with the SCI platform. Already with CARDESA, work has started to develop and identify a strategic research agenda for the Southern African region. And with SCI platform, we've had a brief exchange on areas of mutual interest, and we will hear from the representative from the SCI platform during the session tomorrow to hear a bit more about what that platform does. And finally, on the partners topic, I would like to propose the council give consideration to agreeing to invite another partner to our midst. You would have received a document with the meeting documents that was a template for the Environmental Defence Fund, which is a non-governmental organisation, strong scientific basis, working in the field of, amongst other things, climate change, and turning their attention strongly to agriculture and to methane in particular. Some may be aware of the methane sat that has been launched by EDF, which is to try and improve global capability to monitor methane emissions from space. There is a significant interest from the Environmental Defence Fund to work with the GRA and use its networks to mobilise resources from philanthropy and from donors to support scientific priorities we have. So I hope you can give consideration to that, and we can make that an outcome of this meeting. Turning to the Secretariat, I won't list all of the Secretariat members, but just to update you on some new additions to the extended Secretariat. I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Sega Endao, who's based in Senegal and joined us some months ago, working within the Central and West African region to support engagement of member countries there and research activities with some of our key partners in that region. Mr. Sebastian Ganderats, who is recently, I think, started in INEA Chile and will be supporting Chile during its time as presidency, and of course supporting the Secretariat with its work in Latin America. And finally, Heather Wendt, who's no stranger to some of us, she has returned to support the Secretariat based in New Zealand. So a very warm welcome to these colleagues, and I'm sure you will have contact from them in some way over the coming years. Turning now to CliffGrads, and I'm really pleased to be able to inform you that the CliffGrads PhD program will continue, and it will continue in partnership with one of the new CGIAR research initiatives, which is called Mitigate Plus. which focuses on mitigation of greenhouse gases from the food system. As part of the Mitigate Plus initiative, resources have been secured to complement the existing resources we have in the GRA to support the grants of Cliffgrad students. So this will enable us to scale up the number of students over the coming years that can take advantage of that program. It's also really good news to know that our round 3 and round 4 students are beginning to move to their research placements. There have of course been quite significant delays due to COVID, but the world's starting to open up and travel is starting to become possible. So a number of students have recently traveled to their destinations to take up those 6-month research opportunities, which means we can move to opening the 5th round during 2022, I think, with some confidence. We've been hesitating until now, but I think towards the middle of this year, we will be able to open that call for students to apply, which means that before then we will be going out for expressions of interest for hosts as per the usual process. So look for information from the Secretariat in due course. We also have to support the engagement of the students involved in Cliffgrads throughout all of the rounds, and also in partnership with the IPCC Scholarship Program, which I mentioned at the last council meeting. We have a webinar series underway, and we've invited IPCC Scholarship alumni to participate in all of those Cliffgrads activities to strengthen that network between the two programs. And finally, I really want to acknowledge CCAFs. I don't know if any colleagues from CCAFs or the program formerly known as CCAFs are with us, but a special mention to Lenny Wallenberg and to Saniro and to Sadie and all of the CCAFs team who have worked with us over many years to collaborate in the GRA, but specifically in the Cliffgrads program to make that a success. We wouldn't have been able to do it without you, and we look forward to working with Lou and his team in Mitigate Plus over the coming years. With one of our partners, RuForum, which is it's a regional platform for universities in Africa. We have a number of activities. A really great activity late last year, which was a conference we hosted in partnership with RuForum in the margins of the Week of Higher Education in Africa. And you can see from that image on the screen a number of sessions focusing on measurement, modeling, mitigation of greenhouse gases from agriculture, where we were able to profile a number of GRA activities. We were able to profile the graduate research grants recipients, projects, and provide a space for some of our partner organizations and others to talk about the work they're doing. It was a really well attended event over those 3 days in October last year. Despite COVID, our 21 and soon to be 22 master's students from the first graduate research grant call have been getting on with their fieldwork, and we've been privy to the updates from those research teams to hear how they are going. And despite COVID, they're making really good progress. So we're looking forward to seeing how those projects advance over the coming 12 months, and wish those students the best of luck, of course, for their master's degrees. We have plans underway to open a second graduate research grant call during 2022. The aim of this call will be to support priorities of the GRA research groups, networks, and future flagships. So the exact topic is yet to be determined, but we will be very much having in mind how these grants can support the work of the GRA. In terms of GRA's work or activities in being a funder of research, as you all know, the GRA has no funding of its own, but it has received funds from members to support it to act as a funder within the context of some European centered research calls. This one is the European Joint Programme on Soil, and the GRA participated in the first external call where it was able to fund 4 projects of a total of 11 that enabled the participation of 13 research teams from developing countries to be involved in those 4 projects. And we're now participating in the development of a second, what is now called international call under the EJP Soil, which will open in April 2022. And the topics of that are being decided over the next few weeks. And the aim again will be to support developing country research teams to be part of those research consortia that bid into that call. So any governments or partners who would like to support that through the provision of funding, please do not hesitate to contact me. Another very similar model is the GRA's participation in an ERANET co-fund joint call on circularity in mixed crops and livestock farming systems. And likewise, we moonlighted as a funder and were able to support 4 projects of a total of 9 supporting the participation of 9 research teams from developing countries. We have, with the leadership of the Circular Food Systems Network of the GRA, we have commenced conversation with the leaders of all of those 9 projects to explore transversal issues across all of those projects that might be able to be brought together and turned into something bigger. If we look across those 9 projects, there are a lot of similarities. Of course, the concept of circularity is well embedded. So we're looking to work with those projects to see what more we might do and connect that well to the Circular Food Systems Network. And there'll be a meeting of all of the project teams coming in the next few weeks. In terms of some of our work engaging with the agricultural industry or sector, if you like, I've mentioned before that the GRA is acting as a knowledge partner to support an initiative launched by the global dairy sector, which is called Pathways to Dairy Net Zero. It was launched at the Food Systems Summit last year and updated at the COP26. In partnership with the UN FAO, we have proposed a 2-year work program to the dairy sector colleagues leading that initiative that we hope will soon be signed off so we can get to work to undertake all of the necessary analysis to support that initiative, which includes analysing mitigation options, developing with FAO a new dairy systems classification that would be embedded within the GLEAM model, and then undertaking a series of modelling scenarios to work out the different plausible mitigation pathways that would apply to different dairy systems globally out to 2050. So basically to say, how much mitigation do we think we can get with available technologies and practices, and what would be the gap and therefore the research required to achieve the ambitions that the sector has. So, you know, I think this will be a really good vehicle for promoting GRA research activities. As has been mentioned by Andrew, the GRA joined the Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate as a knowledge partner. This was confirmed at the launch of the initiative in COP26, where the GRA will now be able to support the objectives of AIM4C through its own research activities, flagships, etc. We have a number of our research activities already recognised by AIM4C as innovation sprints, and I hope that our discussions in this meeting will be able to launch some more projects that can support the objectives that AIM4C has. And ideally be a means to attract investment into our own priorities from the AIM4C community. At COP26 late last year, as has been mentioned, the GRA was given some profile through the Global Action Agenda for Innovation in Agriculture, which was the outcome of the Climate Shock campaign. And it was one of a very short list of priority initiatives that was identified. We're also in discussions in development of the Glasgow Breakthrough on Agriculture, which was mentioned by Andrew briefly as well. The words of the breakthrough are to make climate resilient, sustainable agriculture the most attractive and widely adopted option for farmers everywhere by 2030. What is happening now is a series of sort of metrics or indicators are being discussed as to how we might monitor progress against that breakthrough goal. And GRA is one of a number of organisations in those conversations to see how the work we do may contribute to that breakthrough agenda. And finally, to acknowledge Australia hosting the side event on contemplating the co-benefits at the COP, which looked at that synergies between adaptation and mitigation and trying to make the case for improved practices through the co-benefits or the win-wins that we know can exist in many cases. Very recently, the GRA was highlighted by the ministerial communique from the Global Forum on Food and Agriculture at the 14th Berlin Agriculture Ministers Conference, which was an online event this year, unfortunately. But again, the GRA is receiving recognition through these various initiatives due to its, I guess, long existence and the quality of the work that we are producing. So I think, as Andrew mentioned, we should be proud that we are positioning the GRA well in all of this international landscape, which can become increasingly busy. This is another proposal I'll make. So a lot of this is updates, but buried in some of these are some action items. Recently, the Secretariat, myself, we were contacted by the Global Methane Pledge Secretariat seeking interest in being a supporter of the Global Methane Pledge. In their words, the supporter is any organisation or institution who supports the goal of the Global Methane Pledge and who can assist in achieving the target through a range of things: technical assistance, financial support, or other momentum building actions. And it does not commit GRA to any specific responsibilities. The GRA would be featured in the supporters section of the Global Methane Pledge website. My proposal to the meeting for consideration is that myself and the Secretariat liaise with the Global Methane Pledge Secretariat to become a supporter, and then explore areas of interest for the GRA and really see how the GRA might support that Global Methane Pledge objective. For those who aren't aware of the detail of the pledge, it can be found on the internet, on the website of Global Methane Pledge. It basically sets a 30% aggregate target for methane reduction by 2030 across all sectors. So it's not binding any one country or sector to that particular reduction. It's an aggregate target setting a certain level of ambition globally. So we think it's of value to the GRA, but it's up to you, of course, as members to make that decision. I'll leave it there. I'll thank you very much for your attention, and obviously welcome any questions or comments from any of our members or partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hayden, for your comprehensive report and update on the GRA activities during the past year, as well as highlighting the new possibilities for the coming year. We will now open the floor for questions and comments to our special representative. Please, colleagues, raise your hand via Zoom or leave us your question on the chat, and we will make sure we provide those questions to our special representative. We will give you a few minutes for you to organize this. We see that Andrew agrees with possibility of complementing activities with the meeting pledge. So thank you, Andrew, for your comment on that. We are still have the floor open for questions. In the meantime, Hayden, maybe if you could comment to us from the Cliff Grad Awards that have been provided by the GRA, how many are still pending given the COVID-19 situation? Or what percentage has been implemented over the last year, maybe?
If you bear with me, I will let you know that. I just need to find that information, but I know it was provided to us just recently.
In the meantime, oh, sorry, Hayden.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So six people from round 3 have completed. No, look, I'll have to update you because that was just a round 3 update and there's still some work to be done on round 4. But we can provide that information perhaps in the meeting report if you like, to give everyone an update on how that's progressing.
Okay, Hayden, thank you. Just to have an idea, considering that we are looking for the next round at some point during this year, and we are still under the COVID restrictions widely around the globe. We know that Luke from the UK have expressed also support to the possibility of interacting with the methane pledge. So thank you to the UK for that support. Are there any other comments or questions from the floor?
Maybe just a reminder to people that the other action item there was to consider whether we agree on inviting the Environmental Defence Fund to be a partner of the GRA, which would mean at the conclusion of this meeting, we would issue a letter to Environmental Defence Fund and they would consider that and respond in due course.
Thank you for that reminder, Hayden. So we ask the floor to consider this possibility, and we will have further information during these days before we finalize the meeting. You have been provided the documents in the preparation documents you received prior to this meeting as well. We know we have a question from the floor by Cecilia Jones. we heard from Cecilia that she also agrees with the possibility of interacting with the methane pledge, and she has provided in the chat details of how those actions could be taken up. So we ask the special representative to take note of those possibilities, please, to complement the work between the GRA and this pledge. Are there any comments or further questions to our special representative? I see a hand raise, it seems. We have a hand raise from the USA. Please, Marilyn. Just bear with us for a minute, please. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay. Thank you. Just a comment, and thank you, Hayden, for that great update. I just wanted to make the comment that I'm really excited that our Cliff grads are beginning to mobilize, and I think that's a huge step forward for returning to some level of normalcy, and also just in the work of the GRA overall. It's just a really good example of our resilience and our ability to get things moving again. So just excited to hear that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that comment. We are happy that we all agree. This is a very significant and important point. I would like you to consider as well the possibility of interaction with the Aim for Climate initiative, as our special representative has indicated during his update. Our Minister of Agriculture was participating in the ministers' meeting this morning, and she provided possibilities for the initiative to collaborate with the GRA. So hopefully during the year we will see some things moving, in particular in the areas of knowledge sharing and innovation. Are there any other comments or questions to our special representative? If not, we will move to the next section of our meeting. Thank you, Hayden, for the update and for being with us and supportive all the year around.
Thank you.
Alfonso, we go back to you.
So thank you for your words, Mr. Montgomery. Continuing with the council, we will have Mr. Luc Spadavecchia and Ms. Nina Grasnik, who will be reporting about the working groups in innovation and research stocktake accordingly.
Many thanks. Hello, everyone. Welcome from the UK. I've been asked to say a few words about the work that we've been doing to develop a working group around agricultural innovation. And if you'll bear with me, I'll just share a few slides to talk through the thinking so far. So the proposal is around an innovation working group to explore the role of innovation in supporting climate change adaptation and mitigation in agriculture. And the motivation for this has already been well introduced by Hayden, actually. We know that the world needs to halve its emissions over the next decade and reach net zero by the middle of the century if we're going to limit global temperature rises to 1.5 degrees. And it's been acknowledged both in the run-up to COP26, throughout those discussions, and actually in many of the actions arising from that meeting, that innovation will be a key part in delivering that change. Hayden already mentioned the Glasgow breakthroughs and the agricultural ambition to make climate smart, sustainable agriculture the most attractive and widely adopted option for farmers everywhere by 2030. and other initiatives around COP26, such as AIM4C, which has already been mentioned, have placed significant emphasis on the role of innovation. But presently in the Alliance, much of our work is convened around the major sectors of agriculture and the major sources of emissions in terms of croplands, livestock production systems, and paddy rice production. But there is a central question about how we best convene our community to think about and highlight the potential for agricultural innovation to contribute not only to the decarbonisation of agriculture, but also to improve the resilience of food supply in response to climate change, which is inevitably happening. And so the proposal that has been pulled together over the past year, after initially floating this idea at the last council meeting, is for a working group to bring countries together on a voluntary basis in order to share experiences and insights around agricultural innovation, in order to develop a clearer picture of the role that it might play in enabling climate change mitigation and adaptation. We've had some initial discussions with interested parties and have come up with a number of objectives to convene this around. The first is on understanding regional needs for innovation. The second is around understanding and mapping developments in innovative technologies and practices with a view to creating an evidence repository to underpin and inform decision-making. And the third is to showcase and promote the state of the art through developing case studies of successful innovations in agricultural settings through worked examples, and that will include stories of how innovations have come about and how they've been experienced by farmers and the benefits that have been delivered by those innovations. In doing so, we hope to achieve the following outcomes. The first is to encourage researchers within the GRA and more broadly to develop game-changing solutions that are relevant to national circumstances and to build on insights from other territories. The second is to identify potential new avenues of research for the research groups of the GRA, including the role of disruptive technologies or the translation of innovations from other sectors into agricultural production. And the third is around exploring and understanding the potential barriers impacting on the development and uptake of innovation in agriculture. So to date, our discussions have brought us to the point where we have a draft concept note for this group, and I'd be interested to hear more from Council on the perceived need for such a group, and also whether or not the proposal as it stands seems to meet the needs of potential participants. And I'll leave it with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke, for your presentation, for this summary on the proposal. Also, thank you to the UK for taking up this leading role over the year to prepare what we have proposed to the Council just now. So we have a few minutes and we will open the floor for questions or comments for this potential working group on innovation within the GRA. From Indonesia, we received the question on how any country could join this proposal or have a second round at the concept note. Luke. And then we have a question also from the floor, please.
Hi, thank you. And thank you, Luke, this is Jonathan Casey from CABI. We're an associate member of the GRA, also based here in the UK. Thank you, Luke, for that the overview and that idea. I guess my question would be is how it differs from the role that organizations such as the CTCN, the Climate Technology Centre and Network of the UNFCCC, and the UNEP DTU partnership, which runs the technology needs assessments, how this proposed working group would differ from the kind of information and work and ideas and insights that those types of organizations provide, and the Technology Executive Committee as well. You know, how would it be complementary to the work that they're already doing on these issues in agriculture and avoid duplication of those activities?
Thank you for your question. Luke, would you like to comment on both the questions and the opinion we received on the chat? You are mute, Luke. We cannot hear you, I'm afraid.
Apologies, I was unable to unmute myself. I had to wait for the technical guys to do it. I think in terms of the first question from Indonesia, very keen to get as broad participation as possible. Following this discussion, we'll recirculate the draft note as it stands to the council members, and very interested to take thoughts and feedback on that. In response to the second question, we're certainly not looking to duplicate existing activities. I think where we're coming from with this is that the GRA has been identified as a sort of recognised brand in this space, and an organisation which has a significant role and contribution to play in thinking through the role of innovation in the agricultural sector in the context of all the discussions that happened at COP26. So it may be that some of this is to do with signposting existing information. I think a large part of what motivated this from a UK experience has been that we're aware of a broad range of technologies that are available to drive innovation in agriculture. Some of them are more sort of practice-based. Some of them might be more horizon technologies in terms of agricultural engineering or biotechnologies. What we sort of lack outside of the academic literature around many of these technologies is a sort of more applied and practical feel for the extent to which these technologies have worked and have had impact in relevant agricultural settings. So there's something about understanding the landscape of innovations that are out there. And I think that there's quite a lot out there actually that provides that already. The second part is, well, actually, how does the expectation of that technology live up to the experience of the farmer on the ground? And to me, it feels like there's far less of that kind of information in terms of practical solutions that can work. And so I think there's a significant role of the expertise within the Alliance for convening some of that information. And I think we can usefully add to the initiatives and the information that already exists. I see that Hayden's raised his hand.
We have another question from our special representative. Please, Hayden, you have got the floor.
Thank you. I just wanted to complement what Luke said in response to the question about CTCN, for example. I've had some dealings with CTCN in my capacity over the last few years, and what I observe, and I guess the conversations we had with CTCN, is that it principally acts as a matchmaking mechanism, if you like, where some limited resource is provided to support technical assistance to countries wishing to develop, actions in mitigation in their economy. Agriculture being one sector of many. And then there are a group of possible service providers that can then be matched with the need expressed by the country. I guess it's fair to say with most of these sorts of tech initiatives, agriculture is not necessarily well resourced in terms of those people providing services. And so the conversations we had with CTCN were really how the GRA as a convener of expertise in agriculture, innovation, quantification of emissions, etc., can support those mechanisms like CTCN to deliver a better service to the countries that have the need. And it may be complementing with additional resource or expertise the work that would be done and funded by CTCN as a mechanism. So I see no duplication. I see opportunities for leveraging effectively, as Luke alluded to.
Thank you, Hayden, for that contribution. We still have the floor available for other questions or comments in relation to this working group on innovation and the proposal we have prepared over the last year. We believe there are no more comments or questions. Thank you, Luke, again for your presentation and your summary today. We will move then to the presentation of the second working group in relation to the research stocktake. For that, we have a presentation from Nina Grasnik. So thank you for joining us today, Nina, and thank you for your presentation.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to present today on behalf of the Research Stocktake Working Group. My name is Nina Grasnik, and I'm working as a research associate at the Thun Institute in Germany, and I'm also a member of the GRA Secretariat team. During last year's GRA Council meeting, the Council has agreed to undertake a review of GRA actions and achievements across the last 10-year period. This activity was considered as one of the priority actions under the GRA Operational Plan 2021 to 2025. Contributing to the key strategy, foster outreach, knowledge sharing, and information exchange. To advance this work, the GRA Council established a working group comprised of Council representatives from several countries and research group co-chairs to develop the stocktake objectives and method. And if you are also interested to contribute to this working group, please contact me via this email address. Your support would be highly appreciated. The working group has met in September last year to define the objectives and scope of the research and capability stocktake, which I would like to shortly present to you. The aims of this work are as follows. First, to measure the progress and impact of GRA action after 10 years, and to understand the gaps and future capability needs of the GRA needed to address the requirements of a range of stakeholders, governments and research institutions. Third, to highlight the progress and achievements of the GRA community over the past 10 years to international researchers and policymakers. The outcomes will include showcasing successful research collaborations and networks through the development of communication materials for GRA members and partners, as well as other potential members and funders, identifying the benefits of increased investments through the GRA. Fourth, to develop communications suitable to inform existing members, including the research group networks, and options to communicate current research and policy relevant information to a range of end users. And last but not least, to assess current capabilities and needs of GRA members and partners. These outcomes will only be used internally within GRA to align future processes with its members and partners' capabilities and needs. To achieve these aims, the working group plans to carry out first, a review of GRA publications and meeting reports, identifying, for example, the development of GRA research networks over time, and main outcomes of GRA work, such as flagship projects, publications, and so on. And second, the working group plans to survey GRA members or conduct stakeholder interviews to complement the document analysis. So I'm very happy to present you today the first results of the document analysis, which have been also sent to you before the GRA Council meeting in the document 3A, Draft Actor Analysis. As this is work in progress, I highly appreciate your feedback. So please do not hesitate to contact me. This figure here shows an overview of all countries that have been present at any of the GRA meetings during the years 2010 to 2019. Most of the countries have at least once participated at an LRG meeting, all countries with blue stripes, and a council meeting, all countries colored in gray. Roughly half of all countries have been present at CRG meetings, all countries with green stripes, and PRRG meetings, all countries with red stripes. Country representation at IRG meetings, all countries with orange stripes, is lower, which might be explained, among other things, by this research group having its first meeting in the year 2017. The absence of countries in research group meetings might be also explained by the meeting being hosted not in the home country, or because they only recently joined the GRA, which, for example, is the case for many African countries, and therefore they did not yet have the chance to attend many GRA meetings. So the results should be interpreted with caution. And coming from the country perspective, I would like now to focus more on individual actors. So this figure here shows the share of individuals attending meetings of at least 2 out of the 5 GRA groups, so-called multipliers. Considering the whole GRA network, 13% of all individuals who are active in the GRA have attended meetings of at least 2 GRA subgroups. Most of these multipliers have attended council meetings and/or LRG meetings, indicated in light and dark blue. All GRA groups, except for the PRRG, show a multiplier rate of at least 1/4, being the highest for the IRG. Most of the multipliers in the GRA research groups, except for the IRG, have additionally attended the council meeting, which highlights the ongoing interaction between science and policy within the GRA. The IRG shows the strongest overlap of the same participants with its CRG group, indicated in red, a result that might be explained by previous CRG activities being converted into IRG activities. Finally, this figure provides a graphical overview of all actors that have attended at least 2 GRA meetings during the period from 2010 to 2019. Each colored circle indicates one actor attending a meeting. Each light blue colored box indicates a meeting, and the number of links, lines connecting circles and boxes, refers to the number of meetings one actor attended. The bigger the circle, the more meetings have been attended by one particular actor. And this network graph shows that there is a core group of individual actors that have attended several GRA meetings during the last years. Most of these actors take over a leading position, indicated by purple circles, in one of the GRA research groups, for example, as a research group co-chair or research network co-lead. Or these are actors from New Zealand, all the turquoise circles. For example, GRA Secretariat team members such as Deborah Knox. They at the same time play an important role as multipliers, as they are attending meetings of different GRA subgroups. For example, in the case of Jean-François Susanna, who attended meetings of the LRG, CRG, IRG, and the Council. In addition, some active actors have participated at almost all meetings of one research group, but are neither leading position nor from New Zealand, red circles. For example, Heinz Flesser and Olga Mayorga Mogollon. In general, however, most actors have been present on average at 2 meetings. Yeah, and with this, I would like to conclude the presentation of our first results and present to you our work plan for 2022. So we have planned to continue the document analysis until April. We especially want to build on the retro perspective of the Cropland Research Group that was compiled by Mark Liebeck in 2019 and do a similar exercise for the other research groups. In parallel, we will draft the survey questions, so we are hopefully able to conduct and compile the report until June. With this, we aim to have the communication material ready in September to be shared at international events such as the COP27. And with this, I would like to close my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and again, warmly invite you to join our working group. So don't hesitate to contact me.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you for that summary and for the great presentation, showing and forecasting all the interaction that are generated within the GRA. We will open the floor now for comments and questions to Nina. We have on the chat a comment from Sasha from the Netherlands, and they would like to join the working group, and they'll be in contact with you, Nina. I don't know if you would like to comment on that.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to present today here. And yeah, of course, it's great that the Netherlands would like to join the working group. And also again, to all participants today, feel free to contact me and join the working group, and also feel free to comment on the draft actor analysis that was sent around to you prior to the meeting. And apologies for the presentation that was not so good to see.
Thank you, Nina. Then we have a comment from our special representative. Would you like to make it live, Hayden? Just a note from the Secretariat. We will make sure you receive all the presentations via the Secretariat after the meeting. Are there any other comments or questions from the floor for Nina? From Marlene, thank you very much, Nina, for your update and the presentation. That was on the chat. Do we have... Thank you also from the UK. Thank you, Luke, for your comment on the chat. If there are no more comments or questions for Nina, thank you, Nina, again, for the presentation and for the update and for the hard work over the last year and what is coming in 2022. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. With this, we will move then to the final session of this morning. And I would like the Council to take note that we need to review the arrangement for the GRA Special Representative and Enhanced Secretariat. As you are aware, prior to this meeting, the Secretariat provided these documents, and the Special Representatives and Enhanced Secretariats arrangements need to be reviewed every 3 years. The last time they were reviewed was in 2019. So it's time for us to talk about this and to make comments or additions or modification as the Council will consider. So I will open the floor for comments or questions on these arrangements, so that both the Secretariat or our special representative can clarify any doubts about it. We will give a few minutes to the floor to react on this. So if you have you could leave your comments on the chat or raise your hand, and we will open the microphone for you to share your comments or your opinion about these terms of reference. I think there is a hand raise. We have a Shainit from Ireland, and we'll give you the floor, Shainit. Please bear with us 1 second. Please, Shainit, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Martha. My name is Sinead Waters. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Livestock Research Group. And I'd like to acknowledge the hard work of the Special Representative, particularly in supporting the co-chairs in their roles. And for us in particular, in the role of recently of some of the funding calls, particularly the recent Airgas call on circularity. I'd like to acknowledge all the hard work that Hayden did in bringing in low middle income countries into funding calls, supporting us in developing project proposals. And also, I guess, in Ireland as well, is the Cliff Grads programme. And I appreciate some of the administration of that is done now in Ireland. And I acknowledge the very hard work of the Special Representative in the Cliff Grads programme. You saw from his presentation today some of the fruitful results from that. And the last thing is, of course, his involvement also in the pathways to Dairy Net Zero. There's a lot of work being done there by Hayden behind the scenes, and as a co-chair of the Livestock Research Group, and I guess as Irish involvement, I would actually like to acknowledge the work that he is doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Shainit, for your comment. We have more hands raised, so we will move to receive comments from the UK with Luke Papadekia. Please.
Many thanks. I'd just like to support the views that Sinead has set out there. I think the importance and the energy of the Special Representative role that Hayden has brought to this is sort of evidenced in the numbers, really, when we look at the continued upsurge in participation in the Alliance, the growing membership, the growing partnerships, and really the strengths of the outputs have much to rely on Hayden's actions. So I'd like to commend Hayden on his work, and hope that we can continue to see that energy in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke, for your comment. We have further hands raised. Please welcome Andrew from Australia. Thank you, Andrew, for joining us.
Thank you very much. I've had to shift from my computer to my phone, so apologies for any differences there. Yes, look, as council chair, I've found Hayden's role to be extremely useful and valuable. But also I'd like to commend the enhanced secretariat. It's great to have different offices in different parts of the globe. And as we've just seen from Nina's excellent presentation, having those contributions from other countries through providing people in the secretariat to work with Deb and her team, and with Hayden as special representative, I think adds a lot of value to the GRA. So I strongly commend the paper to the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, for your comment to the floor. We have another hand raised by John Harrison from Ireland. Please, John, if you will join us. The floor is yours, John.
Hello, yes, we would also like to support the special representative and the work that Hayden does. I think it's really important on the international level, and I think we can see that from his presentation today. So I would support my colleagues that have also added their support to the special representative, and also with the extended secretariat to support these activities. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for your comment. Thank you to the floor for all your contributions and for highlighting the hard work carried out by the Enhanced Secretariat and our special representative. I think we have further comments in the chat. We have greetings from the USA to thank you, both the Secretariat and our special representative, for their hard work. Thank you very much, Marlene. Thank you for your contribution. This is a comment from the Netherlands to comment the hard work from New Zealand and the great contribution from our special representative and the Secretariat. And they would like to express this acknowledgement also to the Council. We have more comments on the chat, I believe. Thank you to Samoa for your comment in the chat, and thank you to also and greetings to Hayden and the Secretariat for the hard work. And we have another hand raised, I believe, from New Zealand. Trish, will you join us? Thank you, Trish.
Hello. Good evening, good day, hello. Just to confirm that New Zealand is happy to continue to support the special representative role and, of course, the Enhanced Secretariat. So welcome the comments that have come in, and New Zealand endorses that.
Thank you for all the support by the New Zealand government, and of course, thank you to our Enhanced Secretariat. And thank you to Ladislao for your comment on the chat, to greetings for the Enhanced Secretariat and our special representative, and also commending the great work you all do. Also from China, Dong Ming, thank you for joining us today and for sharing your greetings to the Enhanced Secretariat and our special representative. If there are no further comments or hands being raised, then we understand that the Council and the floor agree to support and endorse the terms of reference for the work of the special representative and the Enhanced Secretariat for the next 3 years term. So thank you very much, everybody. With this, we'll end up this section of the meeting and the meeting today, and I'll give the floor to Alfonso.
Thank you. We thank every authority who has been presenting on day one, and give a special congratulations to Chile, the new chair of the GRA. We will see you tomorrow at 8:30 Chile Summer Standard Time, when we connect with the same link to day 2, the Global Research Alliance Council Meeting 2022. Thank you. Goodbye.